Good afternoon and welcome to the EURAXESS UK webinar on effective proposals. So my name is Una Collins. I'm the EURAXESS UK manager for the British Council, and I just wanted to introduce Sheng Kawadi. He's going to be leading this webinar this afternoon. He's a Researcher Connect trainer for the British Council, and also a professor at Sheffield Hallam University. So I'm going to hand over to Sheng now. Thank you, Sheng.
Thank you very much indeed, Ona, and thank you all for joining the session. And we have just an hour and quite a few things to run through, so we'll make a quick start. Yes, so like Ona said, I'm Sheng Kolade. I work at Sheffield Business School as Professor of Entrepreneurship and Digital Transformation. Right, so today we are going to be looking at effective proposals. And I imagine that all of you here, whatever stage of the career you are in, whether you're very early on in your career, you're, further along, applying for external grant, or whether it's internal as well. But external grant is a key part of what we do as researchers. And so we're going to be looking at those things that funders are looking for when they're assessing your application. Whatever call it is, there are some, generic considerations and criteria that funders are interested in. And that is what we're going to be looking at today in terms of strategies, in terms of tips that can help you to pitch your proposal with better chances of success. So by the end of today's session, I expect that you will be able to understand those criteria, to identify and understand those criteria that funders are looking for in research proposals. That you also be able to make the connection between, research outputs, that you produce as a result of funded project or proposed project, and how they link to impact, to benefits, to practical value. So the link between this intellectual contribution and the practical merit of your work, that is also key. We're going to be looking at that. And then we're going to then look at strategies and strategies to be able to highlight your track record, your experience, to be able to show the funders that you have credibility to deliver. And then we will look at how then do you put your plan together to ensure that you're able to convince the funders that this will be done, and this is how it's going to. This is how it is going to be done. All right. So, but before we continue with that, I wanted to do a little exercise, which is here on Mentimeter. I hope you can see my screen well. I want you to join this session. You don't need to download the app or anything. Just go to menti.com and join this session there using this code 56490189. Okay, so 56490189. So just click join, menti.com on your mobile device or your laptop. No need to sign in or, download anything. Just join this session. So I'll give you a little bit more time for this particular question than the others. So there are a series of questions I wanted to respond to get a sense of where you are at with regard to, your understanding of, what is the most important consideration. So you are choosing one item here. You probably find that all of them are relevant in some ways. But what, in your view, is the most important factor or most important criteria that funders consider above the others when they're assessing your proposal? Okay, so you can, select any of the 4 options that is showing on your screen about what you think is the most important factor. There are no right or wrong answers. I can see 2 of you have already responded. That is good. So please, let's see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. I think there are about 7 of you on the call. Are there any more responses to this? What is the most important? So yes, the results are coming in. Okay, so let's have a look at what people are saying on the screen. 2 of you said, is how unique and innovative your research idea is. Somebody else has said it's about a well-structured and credible delivery plan. Okay, can I just have, you can unmute yourself and tell me just in 1 minute, if you and those who say how unique and innovative your idea is, can you tell us a bit about why do you think that's the most important consideration? Just 1 minute. Can one of you say, unmute yourself? Can people unmute themselves or not? Okay, is there anyone wanted to speak to this?
People should be able to unmute themselves and
Okay.
turn on the camera.
Excellent.
Just to bear in mind that the meeting's being recorded, so if you prefer to keep your camera off,
Okay.
that's possible. But yeah, the mics and the camera should work.
Okay, excellent. Does anyone want to say anything about why you think this is the most important consideration? In 1 minute only? Yeah? Okay. Looks like you're a bit reticent to speak to the camera. That's fine. So, again, like I said, there are no right or wrong answers. I just wanted to explore your thought on this. Of course, your research, your proposal needs to be unique and innovative. That is important. All of these 4 criteria are very important. But remember that the foundational thing really is about the research, because it's application for research project. So we can talk about the practical impact, which is very important, very, very important. Your academic record is important, and you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan. That is very important. But all of that is really building on the innovative idea that your research is. What is different? What are you trying to do differently? So that is important. All of these are important, but the foundational thing that they will be looking at is what is different, what is new, what is innovative about your idea. Now, of course, if the funders get, let's say 200 applications and about 10 of them are very highly all innovative, equally, maybe they all got 10 out of 10 in terms of innovativeness and how unique the idea is, then they are going to be looking at these other ones. So what's the value? What's the practical value? Do you have the credibility? You can put together, these brilliant ideas, can you deliver it? Okay, but let's move on quickly. But thank you for your response here. To the next question then. So think about a project that explores the intersection of AI and education. Which of the following will be the strongest way to link your research output to impact? Okay, so this is talking about, think of this, some of you may not all be looking at AI and education, but imagine, because AI is quite a big topic now, that's why I chose this. So which of these will be the strongest way? Again, remember, the strongest way. All of this could be very important and relevant, but which one do you think will be the strongest way to link your research output to impact? Is it publication? Is it partnering with local school? Is it host public webinar? Is it develop an open source AI toolkit for global use? Which of them? So please, again, just choose the option that you feel is the strongest way to link your output to research for a project that is looking at AI and education. Okay, so let's see what the participants are saying here. All right. Okay, I'm going to give just another 10 seconds or so to see whether there are any other views coming through. Again, just go to menti.com. You don't need to download anything or Just in there. All right. Okay, so yes, so there is all of you that have responded, believe it is to develop an open source AI toolkit for global use. Anyone want to say anything quickly on that? Okay. Yeah, but because you are looking at linking the research to impact, I think developing an open source AI toolkit seems like a very, very good one, isn't it? Number one, it is open source, which means anybody can access and use it anywhere. And it is an AI toolkit, so it is based presumably on the product of the research. So this is after the research, that has, generated this. So you're able to link that, okay, this is what we did. This is when we've conducted this study, we found this, we analyzed our data, and that has led us to produce this. So there's a clear link there, if you like. So of course, it's good to publish your findings. It's good to partner with local schools. That's another good one, but it's very specific, isn't it? To test these AI tools. Hosting public webinars can also be a good one because you are disseminating. But when you're talking about impact, it's more than just dissemination. It is, AI is changing outcomes for real end users in real world situations. So I agree with you. That's good. So let's go have two more questions there. You are writing your first major funding proposal, but lack project leadership experience. How might you convince funders of your capability to deliver? So which of these do you think is the best way? Is the most effective way to convince funders that you can deliver this outcome? Yep. I think somebody is unmuted. Can you please mute yourself? I don't know who that is. Okay, so is it, small scale project you've been, academic publications and technical skills, in a team with senior collaborators, detailed description of a project management plan. So this is about your capability to deliver. Okay, capability to deliver. Okay, thank you all. Some good responses there. Yes, some interesting thought there. Build a team with senior collaborators and highlight their track record. Yes. Okay, so these are all good responses, but I will go with that. I will go with that, building a team with senior collaborators, because remember, this is your first major funding proposal. It's good to highlight the small project that you've been part of. That is really good and important. But because you have not led a major project before, that will not be enough. So, but if within your team you have people who are senior leaders who have led projects before, that will convince the funders better that you can deliver. We'll talk more about this as we go along. Okay, as well as highlighting the project that you've done, but having this senior team is a good strategic pathway forward. Finally, your proposal must include a detailed delivery plan. Which of the following do you think is the most critical, or is most critical when for funders when they are evaluating your plan? Which of this? Will it be a clear timeline for milestones and output? Explanation of how you manage risk and challenges, the rules for team members, the Gantt chart, or regular reporting and accountability measures. Which of these do you think will be the most critical, the most important? Okay, in terms of your plan. So you can see that all of these I can see what is happening there. All of these are really good ideas, right? But which one do you think will be the most critical here? Yeah. All right. Okay. So thank you all. I think majority of you have said is a clear timeline for milestones and output. I think that is really important. Other ones are also important. But yeah, we're going to look at this in more detail. Okay, so let me just step out of there for now. Can you see my slides now? We're back on the slides. Yep. I hope you can see my slides now. Okay. So what do funders want? So I've used that, opening icebreaker, if you like, to sort of focus the minds on whatever kind of application for funding you are looking at, whether they are big or small ones. Funders across the board, prioritize these four important, criteria, or these four important, issues. The first one is the intellectual merit of the proposal. So what is original? What is new? And how do you want to deliver it? What are the ways you are engaging with data and analyzing your data? Then the practical merit and potential impact is also important. What would this do in terms of real world applications, in terms of tangible outcomes, in terms of long-term impact, potential long-term impact that can come from the research. And then the number three thing is, can the applicant deliver this? So it's all good to have a great, proposal that is innovative, that is original, that has, potential impact pathways. But can you deliver it? And what have you done before to show that you can deliver it? So it's about the credibility, the ability and track record. And finally, is about the delivery plan. You may well be able to show that, okay, I can do this, I've done this in the past, but what's the plan? How will you deliver this? So these are the four main criteria when it comes to, grant applications for research. And I just want to discuss or speak a bit more about these in the next few minutes, elaborate a bit more on them. Now, when it comes to intellectual merit of your research proposal, the best proposals are the ones that are focused, that are innovative, but also in terms of the methodology and the approach is very, very, rigorous. You're not just, doing, surface, superficial kind of analysis of data. You have a rigorous way to engage with the data. But yeah, the innovation is really key. There needs to be very clear direction on how you are advancing knowledge, whether you're heading to the state of the art. If you are going to be giving, 100,000 pounds or 250 euros or 2 million euros or whatever amount, and you are not demonstrating what you are adding to knowledge, I think funders will be very, very skeptical at best. And your proposal is probably not going to go even through the first stage of review. So that's important. Original contribution is a key indices of the intellectual merit of your proposal. But this also has to be underpinned by stakeholder engagement. So the top-down approach to doing research is antiquated. It is no longer considered, a credible and strong way to do, to go about knowledge production. So the co-creation approach, where you identify your stakeholders, that are likely to be impacted by the research, and you are not just engaging them at the end of it. You are co-producing the research design with them. About what do they want, what do stakeholders want to happen in the light of these research ideas, so that they are involved and co-opted in the design of the research itself. And then, your methodology, what kind of data are you working with, and are you collecting these, and are you analyzing your data? So the rigor that you bring to bear is also important. Sends a message about intellectual merit. And finally, is about the output. They have to be specific, the academic output. Journals that you are publishing in, they high quality, output as well, in high quality, journals, although of course there's the DORA, the journal is not necessarily the measure, is the paper itself that you're publishing there. So they have to be, specific. They have to be aligned with the research objective and research questions. And also, the non-academic, dissemination is also important, so that the outcome of this is not just lost or it's not just restricted to learned journals, but also you are also engaging with the public, through maybe blogs or audiovisual, representation of the work and other means. of non-academic dissemination. So the specific output, all of these elements are key to really articulate the intellectual merit of your proposal. So that's very important. Is there any question on this before I go on? Or let me actually run through the 4 of them, and then I will take a few questions, if there are, before I give you a little exercise, which is an important part of today. Now, next is the practical merit and potential impact. Funders are not just going to stop at, okay, this work is innovative, is path-breaking in terms of the new knowledge that will come. They want to see a clear link between, the intellectual, merit and the potential impact. So how is this knowledge connecting to, real world, applications and impact? So you need to be able to link your output, the academic and non-academic output of your research with tangible outcomes and societal benefits. Okay, because in the end, the intellectual merit and practical impact are, mutually reinforcing. They are not mutually exclusive. They are linked together. One should be reinforcing and strengthening the other. But also the way you present this outcome should not be vague. It should be, clear. It should be measurable. It should be, meaningful in terms of, what are the outcomes going to be. So there's a trajectory from output, which is, what comes out of your research, publications, for example, both academic and non-academic, and in different forms, both textual and audiovisual and all of that. So the output linking to outcomes, and from outcomes to impact. So the outcomes are more, short, medium term. The impact are medium to long term. And you should be able to, of course, you cannot tell what the impact will be, right? That is why the word pathways is often used when you are putting your proposal together. It's about, what are the possible pathways to long-term impact? Because it will be, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, or longer after your research is completed. I will begin to then measure or see the long-term impact. But in your proposal, you need to be able to at least tell. It doesn't have to work out exactly that way, but you need to be able to show these are the pathways, to impact in the long run. So that's important. And the number 3 thing that we mentioned before is your track record. So it is not enough to show that, okay, this is an innovative idea, and these are the ways in which it can benefit society or, change or produce tangible outcomes. It's also really that, can you do it? It's easier to, put together high standing proposal or something that we think, will be impactful. But funders want to look beyond that. It is also about, can this candidate actually deliver what they said, they want to deliver, however impressive, the idea is. It's about, have you done this before? Have you delivered, impactful result before in your prior project? Do you have the skills, and competencies to deliver this? So your expertise must be aligned with the project objectives and goals. And I think it's about the portfolio. It's about, being able to link the past with the present. And that is where then, especially when it's a team project, that's most, if it's not a fellowship, fellowship are individual, but if it's a research project, the traditional research project is a teamwork. So you have principal investigators, you have co-investigators. So this is where you then begin to think about how you want to build a team that has, complementary, expertise and skills and experience, because that is part of what the funders will be looking at. So you might be, a co-hire in a project or a PI in a project is really about, the full portfolio of skills and expertise within the team. So that is what the track record is. It's not really about you as an individual applicant for team-led, team-based project. It's about the whole group, the whole consortium, or the whole team. So that is important. And finally, okay, you've done this, you have this great track record, you have the credibility of previous expertise and experience to deliver. But on this particular project, what is the plan? Because it could well be that you are involved in 3 or 4 or 5 different projects. Who knows? So it is not enough to show that this is what I've done in the past. It's important, but it's not enough. You need to show clear, feasible plan for delivery using SMART objectives. And you know what SMART objectives are? They have to be specific, they have to be measurable, they have to be achievable, they have to be realistic, they have to be time bound. So how do you run this? So you need to have work packages. Who is doing what? And when are they going to do it within the team? If you have 5 co-investigators, what are they going to do within this? And when will they do it? So a typical funding proposal, we have work packages, where you have sort of used, the work breakdown structure. The entire project is broken down into discrete parts, and you are showing this is who the member of the team that will deliver this. They will be supported by so and so, and they will do this within this timeline. So that is important. So you need to have a clear plan of who is doing what when as part of a delivery plan. You need to have a project management plan as well about, how are we going to track this? Okay, so the who is doing what when, okay, that's fine, but how are we going to be tracking that this is done? So are you going to be meeting every month? Do you have, a steering group? Do you have, the operational team, for example? When are they going to meet? How are they going to be tracking progress? How will they be identifying, challenges and bottlenecks in the course of running the project? So the milestones, what are the milestones to be looking at? So I mentioned, of course, on the screen, you can see the Gantt chart helps you to organize the work package, but the project management plan is also important. How you are tracking it, how you are monitoring it, how you are, trying to find early enough any challenges that is there and fixing it, in good time so that the project can continue apace. And you also need to have a reporting plan. So how are you going to be not wait until the very end of the project? At specific stages, how are you reporting, what is done? Maybe to your stakeholder group or to your steering group. How will you be reporting? How will you be giving updates? Even public as well. On the project website, for example, are you reporting what has been done as you go along? There needs to be an accountability, plan as well. Because in combination, all of these 4 criteria they work together in synergy in terms of what funders will then look at when they are assessing the merit of your proposal. The intellectual merit, let's go over that again. In terms of innovation of the idea, what is unique, what is different, how rigorous is your data collection, and so on. The practical merit, what is the link between these intellectual contribution and reward impact? How are you going to achieve that? What are they linked to? What are the pathways to impact? And the track record and your ability. So what are the skills? What are the expertise you have as an individual, but also as part of a team? How full is your portfolio within the team to deliver this? And then how do you want to make it happen? So that's your delivery plan. So these are all very important. Okay, I'll pause for just about 2 minutes to ask if there are any questions on these 4 criteria before I move on to the task that I want you to look at in short breakout sessions. Are there any questions?
Chung, there's a question in the chat from Lee Kwan. They're wondering how to show the engagement of the stakeholders.
Sorry, can you please say that again, Ona? They are wondering.
I am wondering how to show the engagement of the stakeholders.
I see. Okay. I mean, so at this point, because it's a proposal, so what you are putting together is not showing that you have engaged with stakeholders. Although if it's a follow-up project, let's say you've done a pilot project before, you can mention that. So this is about how you will do it. It's not really showing that you have done it. It's about a plan. So what you need there is a stakeholder engagement plan. And that include a few important elements. The first one is identifying the stakeholders. So you need to do stakeholder identification. Who are the key stakeholders? If, for example, you are doing this project on AI and education, you'll probably be looking at schools, the school, the heads of schools, their teachers and teachers, they'll be key stakeholders, right? Parents will be stakeholders, of course, and the student themselves will be stakeholders, and government department, just to give an example. So you need to be intentional and deliberate about, identifying the stakeholders. So that's the first one, stakeholder identification. Then you need to do stakeholder analysis. So once you identify, you need to find out, what are their needs. Okay? So the needs of the teachers are likely going to be different from the needs of I mean, they'll converge, there'll be convergence of needs, was likely to be different from the needs of the parents, for example, or the students. And of course the government. So you need to stakeholder identification followed by stakeholder analysis, where you are looking at what do they need and what is their influence. What's the level of influence there? So if you are looking at the government agencies or government departments, their influence will be different than the influence of their teachers, for example, because government are the one that set the policy, that schools run with, for example. So you need to also look at, the needs that, as part of your stakeholder analysis, is their needs and their influence. And then you need to do stakeholder engagement plan. So those three elements has to be in your as part of your stakeholder engagement. How will you reach them? So the stakeholder identification, stakeholder analysis, and then culminating stakeholder engagement plan. Are you going to reach some of them by email? Are you going to reach some of them through newsletter? Are you going to reach some of them through town hall meetings? You need to have that. So all of that, I think, will convince. Of course, you have to be concise. You don't have too many pages to work with, but you have to, be concise about that. So it's a plan that is important. It's not a report of I've done this and that. It's how you're going to do that as part of the research design process. Okay. Is there any other question? Okay, I think Olajide has their hand up. Please go ahead with your question.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Professor. So I'm in biomedical sciences. So usually we have templates which we use for example, there's a European template. EURAXESS is Horizon 2020. I have worked with it before when I was doing a master program. So and some of it's good to attend these because some of these things you just told us they were not part of that template. So how can we, and then at times there are word limits to research proposals. So how can we manage all of these and then incorporate it into a restricted word template where we were given headings and subheadings, and then we're given the word counts to work with?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that question, Lajide. Is very important. You're going to find that different funders have different templates. So I think it's really about how you are using it. So for example, if a funder has a template that asks you to tell them about the approach. So with the ESRC, I'm a reviewer, a member of the ESRC Review College, for example. They ask you to tell you about the vision, for example, and the approach. So there's a vision part where you articulate the vision and the objective, and then there's the approach. So in the approach part, that is the one where that's a place where, because that is how you're going to do it. So that is where you should be including a statement about how you're going to engage the stakeholders.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be many paragraphs. In fact, it can be just a couple of sentences. But what you are showing there is that you are aware of it. So for example, ESRC will not have any section or subsection for you where we say what is your stakeholder engagement plan. But they have a section that is called approach. So that is where I will be putting a sentence there, that before we go ahead to collect data, we're engaging stakeholders. And so we're going to run, a stakeholder identification followed by analysis of their needs and influence, and then an engagement plan to articulate how we're going to reach them throughout the life of the project. That is just a few sentences. It does it because what it shows the funders is that you are aware that this cannot be a top-down exercise. You have to co-create this proposal with the key stakeholders. So that it's not at the end of it, you are going back to them and then some are saying, we don't really want this or we don't need this, for example. So yeah, so you will not find, so there will be different templates, but you can always bring all these different criteria to bear in whatever template you are working with.
Okay. Thank you very much. So another question I have is, say, if I'm just in the final year of a PhD program and I want to do a postdoctorate, and then I found a funder, and then they asked me to write a research proposal. So, and then from the PhD, I have maybe a track record of some works I've done and published and conferences, and then so. Am I supposed to write the proposal as an individual, as a single person, and then mention the laboratory where I'm going to do it?
And yes, so that's a very good question. Sorry to cut in on that. But it's a very good question because I was also explaining earlier on that there's a difference between fellowships and traditional research projects, which are more team-based. Fellowships tend to be individual, and postdoc fellowship is an example of that. But you have done very well because that is the next thing I actually want to talk about. Okay. So let me go back. I think, these sort of, I'll come back to all of these that you are seeing later on. I think I want you to look at this case study together as a group. And then you're going to go into a breakout room for just, 6 minutes only. Okay. All right. So this is an example of a postdoc in AI and education. In fact, this is an open call at the moment. The deadline is 2nd of February. And you can see the information there. So this is the focus, and they are looking for people with PhD, including recently, if you have just completed your PhD or you are, maybe just finishing it up. And you can see there on the screen, I hope you can see. So this is an opportunity, it's a 2-year contract. It can be extended potentially to 3 years. And they've mentioned where you're going to work in Linköping University. And this is what they are looking at. You're going to do 20% of teaching. The broad field is computer science. And this is what they require. Can you see that now? So this is in terms of qualification. These are the requirements. So PhD in AI, machine learning, or similar technical area awarded within the last 3 years. So they don't want somebody who has a PhD for more than 4 years, although they say there are good reasons, you can tell them, and they might consider it on a case-by-case basis, but your PhD must be within the last 3 years. And they want, somebody who is curious, who has independent thinking, who has collaboration skills, and who, has proficiency in English, or potentially can, speak a bit of Swedish as well, because this university is in Sweden. So, and they say years of research experience is 1 to 4 years, which, covers your PhD, right? So now what I want you all to do with this postdoc is that you're going to take just 5 minutes or so, but I'll migrate now from this and go to Miro. Okay, do I need to stop sharing? Okay, so let's come back to this. Click to exit. We'll come back to this. So I wanted to go to Miro. I don't know whether Honor shared the link, but I will share the link with you in a minute. I'm not sure, so let me stop sharing for a moment. Okay. And I will share. Can you all see the link in the chat? Oh, I can't share this in the chat, Ona. The chat is not open. Hi, Ona.
Sorry, you're not able to share the chat.
I can't share on the chat now.
Okay, sorry, just a sec.
Okay. I think Ona is helping us there, and I mean, but if you can post the, but that's interesting. So I can't post message on the chat, but participants can. Okay. So I mean, if you can share the link anyway, that would be good enough, Ona.
Yes, sorry, I'm just sending it to my email.
Okay. So I'm not sure. Okay. I mean, so while you are
okay, so that's the link is in the chat now, Sharon.
Okay, excellent. So if you all can please come to the link. You will be able to see this mirror board. Yeah, excellent. So please don't move anything. Don't move anything there. I'm actually trying to lock it now. So what I want you to do in 5 minutes, and I will start the clock because of time, is so group 1, you are going to be looking at the intellectual merit. If you're applying for that fellowship, I want you to use the bullet, you come here and pick up your sticky note. Let me bring you all to me. I know some of you might be new to Miro. So come here, it's very straightforward. You can play around with Miro later on, but I want you to use this sticky note here where I am. You pick up a sticky note and choose any color of the sticky note that you want, and come here and sort of post, what would be bullet point style, what will you put here to articulate intellectual merit? So group 1, put as many sticky notes here to talk about, the intellectual merit you're going to put, a kind of outline, if you are putting your proposal together for this fellowship. Okay? And group 2, you are looking at practical and potential impact, practical merit and potential impact. Group 3, you'll be looking at applicant ability and track records. You can just make this up. So this is, if you're putting yourself in the shoe here, that, to make a strong case for this fellowship, what will you put in the section on applicant ability and track record? And finally, a credible delivery plan. I mean, I know this is a bit tricky because, it's a project that already has, a timeline, but yeah, put something there about how will you deliver this? What are the things? So this is a quick fire exercise. It's 5 minutes only. But can I just check if any of you can work with the sticky notes before I go on? Can somebody pick up a sticky note and post, anywhere on the board? Excellent, great. Okay, you can delete your sticky note now. I just want to be sure that at least somebody can do that. Okay, so you can take it off. Brilliant, fantastic. So you can
okay, so delete.
So and then if you want to type on it, okay, let me show you that. So you just type on it. You just want to put it there, you can start typing on it. So I'm typing on mine now, and you can make it bigger or smaller. I'm typing on this. Don't worry about making it bigger. Just short outline bullet point that you put here. Okay? So that is what you're going to do across your 4 groups. And I'm going to set the timer off for 5 minutes. And then we just have a quick chat at the end. There will be no time to review. We don't have time to do the review. Okay, Honor, are you able to open the rooms now?
Yes, I'll open the rooms.
Okay, and I will just put the timer on mirror for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Just to say there was 3 people that couldn't be assigned, so I don't know if you want them to work in here as a group in the main space.
Yeah, they can work in there as a group and pick any of the groups as long as yeah, just to participate. Yes. You will find the timer on the mirror as you work on it as well. Okay, so the 5 minutes has started.
Prof, what group am I in?
I think Honor is the one setting this up.
If you're still in the main room, we weren't able to assign you. There's some kind of technical reason. So if you take it as the 3 people that are still here are group 4.
Oh
yeah. So you can just you can look at group 4. How many groups do we have, Honor?
4 altogether, including this main room one. So there's three breakout rooms, and then this main space is group 4.
So those who are here, please look at frame 4 only.
Okay,
So focus on frame 4, the 4th frame. Yeah. Okay, I will stop sharing for a moment and just check.
So Shinlu, are you you're happy that you're in group 4? You're in this main room, so if you're happy to speak or to put it in the chat to contribute to the conversation. And then Navdeep Agrawal, if you're here as well. Okay, so room 1 is intellectual merit.
Yeah. 1 is intellectual merit. Room 2 is practical merit and potential impact. Room 3 is applicant ability and track record. And room 4 is a credible delivery plan. So I've not seen anything on each of the boards, but it's all right. I mean, I think 5 minutes is not a lot of time, and maybe some have not even used Miro before. So let's see.
Prof, I've put in 2 messages on stickers on the group 4.
I can see that. So I'm talking about the other groups. I can see yours. So I can see that you put something there. And everybody else that is in this main room, please put something there as well. Ideally, you should be discussing among yourselves, but you are in the main room, so it's up to you how you want to run that. You have 1 minute and 53 seconds. So just about 40 minutes or 40 seconds rather. Yeah. Okay, that is the timer gone. I know it's not a lot of time, but I'm going to leave the Miro board free, open for the next, week, so you can go back there and see, and populate it, and then you can all see what others are putting up there. So, so don't worry about it. We haven't got a lot of time within the hour, but that's just really to give you an opportunity to try a little exercise about how can you fit this within the context of a specific funding call. So I think some of you have struggled a bit, but don't worry about it. So is everybody back in? Before I continue, or can I continue, Hona?
I've closed all the rooms,
Okay,
so
you close all the
people
rooms.
should
So
be
excellent.
coming back in.
So we can carry on. All right. So I just have a few more slides for you. So this again is where you were at. You are looking at this opportunity, and the information is there. Don't worry if you have not been able to put a lot of stuff in there on the Miro board. I'm leaving it open for the next week for you to go back there and put something there and see what others are putting up there. So, but this is just an example. A lot of funding projects that are team-based, you're going to approach it differently, of course. But I think I just wanted you to see that, that the 4 criteria run through anyway, regardless of which, funder you're looking at. What is the intellectual merit of your work? What's the practical, opportunities for impact? What is your track record and competencies, skill portfolio to show that you can deliver this? And so in this particular case, you'll be looking at your PhD. If your PhD is related to AI, be mentioning you completed your PhD, and during your PhD, you did this and did that. You develop this skills, you apply these skills to deliver this outcome. You were able to publish so and so paper apart from your thesis, or you presented in conference and so on. So all of the things that are needed, you can pitch it that way. And of course, is now the plan. The plan to deliver it is a 2-year project. In this case, it's going to be generic because they haven't given you a lot. So this is already a research project. So you are not doing this from scratch. There's a research project there. So I think talking about, your delivery plan is going to be a bit different. It will be tailored in this case because this is a job, this, a project that is there already. But you can still put something there. So this is just to show that the way you operationalize, these 4 criteria will be different from funding call to funding call, depending on what it is about. All right, so I'll just spend the next 3 minutes or so to do a quick run through some of the funding bodies. And I don't know whether these slides will be shared with you later on, but these are all hyperlinked. You can go back from here to the pages of these funders. So in the UK, we have what is called the UKRI, and the research councils. So UKRI, UK Research and Innovation, the main funding body for science. It has 7 research councils, as well as Research England and Innovate UK. Innovate UK focuses mainly on industry partnership, university industry partnership, funds relating to that. So yeah, so you have AHRC, Arts and Humanities Research Council, biotechnology. I think Olajide, you'll be pleased to hear about that. Biotechnology and Biological Sciences Research Council. You have ESRC, Economic and Social Science Research Council, and the other ones listed are EPSRC, MRC, and all the others. All of these have their different funding calls, and for different stages of your career, you can have a look at them and see what are the current calls. And many of these research councils also have what is called open call, which is you don't need to have a specific call, maybe focusing on nanotechnology application or whatever, 3D printing. This can be, you have any research idea, you can apply. There's a rolling call. all of these research councils have what is called responsive mode, but they also have specific calls. When you get on their website, you can find information about that. There are also funding opportunities available with learners, societies, and academies, and these are some of them. The British Academy is really at the top of it, or one of the top organizations apply for funding there before. The Royal Society is there, Royal Academy of Engineering, Royal Society of Edinburgh, Royal Geographical Society, and all of these. These are learned societies and academies. They also have their different funding calls. Again, you know, from this slide, you can go to the pages. These are all hyperlinked. And then you have charitable organizations as well. So the Labour Home Trust is one that many of you know. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, of course. Some of you will have heard about that. The Wellcome Trust as well. So these charitable organizations, they also have, you know, their funding calls and opportunities. Although it's in many cases it's different. With the Research Council, they'll give you what is called a full economic cost, which means they are not only paying your salary, they're also paying indirect and estate costs, which is very good for universities, especially that are hosting this research project. They can pay, you know, for support staff, you know, for admin support and all of that. So yes, so but please, you know, check this out also. And then you have professional bodies. So all of these bodies also, the Law Society, Biochemical Society, again, their BDA, BMA, they all have their funding calls as well. So again, check out the pages. But there's also the Horizon, you know, Europe funding, which many of you have heard about. And is a great opportunity as well. I think there's another slide I wanted to show you at the end. For some reason, I can't. All right. So I will have to come back to that in a moment. This was showing just a while ago, but I will come back to that shortly. But let me stop sharing for a moment before I show you that, and then you can. If there are any questions before I show you the final couple of slides. Okay. Are there any questions? All right. Okay. So the Horizon Europe, I think, is a very good opportunity, is a Europe-wide opportunity for you, and you can assess different, they also have different funding stream. Is a huge pot of fund, running to about 95 billion at the moment. So please do check out, you know, the Horizon Europe fund as well. Okay, finally, can you please take a minute or two to complete this form? You can just scan the QR code on your screen.
You know how to use QR code.
Oh.
QR code.
Yeah, so the QR code is on your screen.
You have to download something first.
Oh, can you? You can just. You can just use your camera to take this QR code. It will take you straight to the link. But Ona, we also post the link in the chat as well. Are you happy to do that, Ona? Because
yes, just putting it in now.
One or two persons are saying they can't access the QR code. So please, I think you check the chat. There'll be the link there in the chat.
Yeah, so link is in the chat now.
Yeah, thank you.
So, thank you.
Fantastic. All right. So while you are completing it, does anyone have one final question or comment as we round up the session today?
Yes, Professor. If you're on LinkedIn, can I link them with you? Because I'll be applying to, but actually, I recently applied to, I wrote a research proposal, And the research proposal, I know it's this research proposal, this funding, they are very competitive. And we don't know the composition of the committee. And even though you've told us all the criteria and we put in our best, and then it would be nice if I can say maybe send it to someone and then it just help me have a look at the way I wrote the proposal. And then, you know, you might have some inputs and from your experience and say, this is how you should write this section, this is how you should write this. And then maybe, you know, I can get a good response from the committee. Because most times when they just write back to us, they say, you know, they don't provide feedbacks to applicants. And we don't know what we should be doing right. But that is why I actually came to do this, just to know more about how to write research grant proposals.
Fantastic. No problem at all. Can you, so I'm actually, if you see your screen now, I'm sharing my details there. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Anyone that is interested in linking up with me on LinkedIn, please do so. My email is there as well. Of course, I can't promise you instant response, you know, but I'll be happy to provide, you know, feedback as much as I can. So, but yeah, that's the last slide actually of this presentation. So you can connect with me there. I'm going to stop sharing now. So, and just to say thank you all for attending this webinar. I hope you have benefited from it. And I wish you the best in your next applications. And I will now hand over back to Honor.
Hi, Xiong, and thank you for taking us through effective proposals and an overview of the funding. And thank you to everybody that's attended. I hope it was useful for you. And if you have any feedback, if you could fill in the form, that would be very much appreciated, very useful. So thanks again to everybody, and thanks, Xiong. All right, I'm going to say goodbye now. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Collins. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you all and enjoy the rest of the day. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.